Now it reached a point in my life where I decided I'm only going to focus on entrepreneurship and nothing else. And these are some of the things that made me a successful entrepreneur. What's up, guys? Welcome back to TRIUM University. If you like such content, please give it a like and share the video. Let's start. So number one on the list is define your own success. Define success in your own terms. In the itself, what do I mean? In the past, I used to work many hours, and in those many hours, I wasn't accomplishing anything. Now, what I decided to do is come up with a list of activities that you need to achieve every day. If you're a salesperson, if it's 200 calls that you need to make in a day, make sure you've done 200 calls. After that, that's a successful day, because most people work so many hours. You'll hear people say they worked overnight, but in the long run, ask them, what did they achieve? Did the results that they were looking for be accomplished? So number one is define success in your own terms, and success is accomplishing all the activities that you set to do. So if you're a salesperson, like I've said, if it's 100 calls, do the 100 calls. If you're a coder and you're doing coding and you want to train, maybe if it's 3 hours a day, make sure you do the 3 hours a day. Don't assume that if you work long hours, it results to you being successful. No, it's the activities you do that you've set to accomplish. Like for example, myself, I decided I'll do content every once a week and a vlog every 5 days. And if you're consistent with that, that's success. Okay. Number two on the list is make sure you're working when everybody else is resting. That includes your competitors. Most people do their 9 to 5 and constantly wait for Friday so that they can party and rest. That's the time for you to be successful. When everybody else is resting, that's the time for you to maximize your potential. So everybody is resting on Saturday. Make sure you push in some work and accomplish what you're supposed to do. So don't wait for Friday to enjoy partying. It's not like partying is bad or anything, but entrepreneurship is all about sacrifice. So when everybody is resting, put in some few work in, be ahead of the rest. Like I read a book by Patrick Bet-David. I don't know, it's 5 moves or something. I'll put the list in the description. But be like a chess player. Always be ahead of your competitor. So when everybody is resting, put in some work. Thirdly on the list is avoid time wasters in your business. Time wasters could be yourself. That's your phone, notifications. When you're working, make sure you only focus on the work that you're doing. If it's 3 hours, make sure you turn off your phone. Focus on everything that you're doing. Another time waster can be your family. Time waster can be also a client who is annoying. What I came to realize as I do in my work is because of desperation, I would get a client who underpays, but the work is too much. You find that what the person is paying you at the end of the day is not what you have been doing. You can dock in like a whole week just doing one project, and the client is underpaying you. That's a time waster, because the rest of the time you could have used that to keep pushing your work. So avoid time wasters. Time wasters can be yourself, your own notifications on the phone. Switch off your phone. Be strict with your charging. Most people don't understand that you can also fire a client. Don't assume that a client is also the boss. No, you're there to provide a service, and also by service, the service is of higher quality, high efficiency, time and everything. So make sure you don't have any client who is underpaying you, but the work is too much. That is our time waster. And you'll find, if let's say for example you do one project that is underpaying you for 1 week, and you have like 5 projects of the same guy. That's like a whole month gone, and you haven't pushed anything, you haven't done promotion for your company, you've only focused on one client. Which also leads me to this point on the same note, is if you're also an entrepreneur, you don't think that you can do everything by yourself. If you have a project and you feel that you really need to do it, but you also have to focus on other things to do, outsource. Yeah, it doesn't mean that because you're not the one who's doing the project that you are limited or anything. No, if you're focused, let's say for example, if you're focusing on building a website for your company and a client has come on board that also needs some coding, outsource, charge high, get somebody to do the work, pay them, deliver, so that you won't waste any more time. Okay, don't be a nice guy and don't be a yes man. What do I mean? In entrepreneurship, if you try to impress everyone, you'll end up wasting time. You don't have to accept every kind of job that comes on board. You don't have to accept every client that comes on board. You don't have to accept working with people. Not everybody is suited, not everyone is suitable working with you. Most people will come on board and waste your time. And most of the time, as people come up trying to venture into entrepreneurship or any kind of business, you're always desperate in trying to get people on board. That state of a yes, like for example, if honestly you can't do anything, don't accept what you can't do and then waste more time. You want to deliver the work, all of a sudden you waste a whole week. The client is angry. The best thing in life, what I've learned in entrepreneurship, is learn to say no earlier. Not to time wasters, not to people who make you people who make you go off the train tracks of your script, of your roadmap. Stick to your plan no matter what. And you not being a nice guy doesn't necessarily mean that you should be rude or anything. No, you're only protecting your boundaries. Protect your boundaries every time when you're trying to build your empire, when you're trying to build your business. Protect your empire, and that makes you be respectable. If I can put it in short words, people will respect you. It's better to have one client who's always paying than to accept 10 people who you'll brush shoulders with. When you venture into entrepreneurship, there's one thing that you really have to understand, and it's something that it took me a long time to learn, and that is the bigger you become, or the bigger you grow in your industry, the bigger the enemies. Now, for the enemies, yourself can be an enemy to you. You can be an enemy to yourself, your ego. The bigger you become, now you think that you're on top of the table, you can do anything that you want, you can talk rudely to people. Another enemy can be relatives. People always assume that you have to do favors for them. Yeah? Enemies can be your competitors. Everyone will try to pull you down. It's just business. It's just how it is. So if you're not sharp up here, you'll end up wasting so much time, because you don't understand that the bigger you become, the bigger the enemies. Just like the previous point that I've said, learn to say no, because you don't understand how many people are trying to put you down. In the sense, they can pretend to come in the form of business, in the form of partnership, but if you're not careful, everyone is trying to use you in some way. So you have to be sharp up here. Now, lastly on the list, one thing I've learned about success in entrepreneurship, you really need a paradigm shift for you to keep yourself running. What do you mean by a paradigm shift? One example of my paradigm shift is growing up. I always wanted to do something for my parents, yeah, and I always told myself every day, if I don't wake up and do what I'm supposed to do, I won't be able to achieve this for my parents. And the paradigm shift is like, for example, maybe you grew up in a less fortunate house. You want your kids to be in British system schools. You want your family to have a very good life. You want to travel. Make sure you have a paradigm shift so that you can understand, if you don't do this at this time, you won't be able to accomplish this at that time. A paradigm shift helps you to be grounded. You can, for example, let's say if today you go to how can I put it, if you go to a cancer center, that's like a paradigm shift, because you'll see how people are suffering. In the sense, you'll start telling yourself, hey, let me start living healthy. It pushes you to start thinking positively and putting yourself in a roadmap that takes you to a positive level. So you definitely need a paradigm shift. Write down things in the morning, things that you need to accomplish. Never settle for less. Settling for less is not a paradigm shift, which it is on the negative side, because if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you'll always remain on the same place. Okay, I hope this video helped you. Now give it a thumbs up. See you next time, guys.